What's the cruelest punishment in history? I forget what it's called, but where you get placed on top of growing bamboo and you get impaled very slowly. The brazen bull, what a horrible thing. When I was 9, mom took away my DS for month. The blood eagle. Scaphism, don't Google it unless you have a very strong stomach. In 1536 there was a breakaway religious community in Munster, Germany. When they were found out by the church, the 3 leaders were strapped to stakes by their neck and had their flesh peeled off their body with hot tongs inch by inch until they finally died. One member tried to strangle himself with the collar, but they kept the victims from dying to torture them further. Once they finally died, they put them in cages and hung those cages from a cathedral, and they still hang there today. Read the short story The Junt by Stephen King. That'll leave a pretty potent mental image. I honestly don't know, but I think that uninterrupted waterboarding until death stands high on the scale. No apparent physical harm, but the constant stress response looks pretty terrifying to me, as it can probably last for a long time if the person's vitals are properly monitored. There was supposedly a torture execution method where the victim was secured down, unable to move. A rat or multiple rats were placed on their abdomen. The rat or rats were then covered by a metal or ceramic bowl, which was then gradually heated. As the temperature in the bowl rose and became unbearable, the rat would escape the only way it could, by burrowing and gnawing its way through the victim's abdomen. Some people are raised and wide jet fans. Oubliettes. Just throw them in and forget they even exist. Thailand's chicken coop prison. Vivisection. Death by sawing. They hang you upside down and saw you from the groin upwards, whilst alive. Belgian colonial punishments in Africa were pretty awful. A father left with nothing but the severed hands and feet of his child, due to not meeting a daily rubber quota. HTTPS. The man who created the first fire department was one of the richest people in ancient Rome. He got captured and died by having melted gold poured down his throat. https://n.wikipedia.org. Wiki Robert Fran C3A7 Wiz Damians. Went to the London dungeon when I was 18. They had an exhibit where prisoners would be tied, and then would have a cage placed over their stomach with a rat or 2 in it. Then they would light a fire on top of the cage, and the only way out would be for the rat to eat through the stomach of the prisoner. I think it's important to remember that most punishments throughout history are not to cause death. Death was the byproduct for most of these horrific acts. The punishment was the pain you felt and the display you put on. You were the object lesson for anyone who had second thoughts about crime. If someone crucified me, I'd be pretty cross,